If it's a day called today, we're talking guitars and life.
Well, all right, my friends, we've reached the end of the journey with the Super Twins. Let's get into it. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel, man. Well, this is going to serve as the grand finale vid for the Super Twin guitars. You may remember that I purchased the Superman and the Batman guitar on the local marketplace for 10 American dollars. They were, let's call it, unplayable and unsuitable for service. But we have turned the Batman and the Superman into rock and roll machines, Jack. Let me remind you where our adventure began. I saw an ad on the marketplace that stopped me in my tracks, and that ad said $10 electric guitars. And I thought, $10, man? Shoots. If any part of either one of these guitar bodies works, functions, that's worth $10 all day long, man. And I don't know if they work. I don't know if they function. We're about to find out if we've got any life at all in either one of these guitars, man. But man, I thought for $10, man, you know, what could go wrong? But anyway, the seller told me that they won the guitars at some kind of carnival-like booth. So guys, you can tell, man, that neck is super, sitting way too deep in the pocket on the tail end of it. That neck has all kind of relief in it. It is filthy dirty. All right, I'll start up here at the top. So this has 5, got them 5 tuners, not your traditional 6, you understand. It's missing a tuner, and these are the cheapo kind of diamond back tuners that we've seen on some other budgets through the channel. The good news is, under the hood, we won't have to ask the question, what size ferrule hole or machine head do you need here? You're going to need an 8 mil, or you're going to have to bore that out. You've got your metal string guides. You've got some kind of a plastic nut that is not seated in that guitar neck very well at all. You got 22 nickel frets. The neck is what I would call beefy, probably a D-shaped neck. Yard, it's pretty round is what I'm saying. Surprisingly, man, there is no sharp fret edges on these frets at all. Now, are the frets scratchy? Well, those frets are not as scratchy as some frets I've had on some guitars. All right, guys, so let's just turn this amp on and see what we've got. It does not have a trem or a whammy bar that came with it. It's got a volume knob and 2 tone knobs. The volume is down the bottom and the tones are on top. I'm not sure if they just put them on backwards or what. The switch seems to be a 5-way switch. I can't wait to go under the hood in this bad boy. We've got 3 single coil pickups. I am missing 1 saddle here, so I'm missing a tuner and a saddle so far for this one. And someone has carved their name or an initial A on here. I don't know if that's for Avengers. Man, you're mixing up the universes. I know I am. This strap button is, yeah. I could probably pull that screw right out of that body. Not that you should ever do anything like that, but I just did it. It was just hanging on by a thread, guys. Got a big chunk out of it. Kind of like we had a guitar to the shop that had a big chunk like that. Oh, the Harmony guitar, man. The other strap button is a loosey-goosey as well. Well, let's see if we've got any kind of electronics at all. Yeah, guys. Well, look, if the amp was clipping really badly, I'm still working on my new arrangement. If you didn't hear any of that, just take my word for it. We've got functioning electronics. If you did, what did you think? So, man, I think for $10, those 3 pickups are worth $10 for sure. And I'm interested to see what we can do with old Batman here. So this is Super Twin number 2. Got a got to call it number 2 because Superman is number 1, of course. Check. Don't get that wrong. All right, well, let's just switch them out here and see what we've got. Well, my friends, we've got Superman tuned up the best we can. It does sport all 6 tuners, you understand. It does have all 6 saddles, but it's only got 5 strings. And in addition to that, my friends, it only has 2 pots that I can at least get to, Jack. The bottom one is missing. I don't know if it's in there and just fell out or what. It has only 1 tone pot, kind of wobbly, and 1 volume pot, kind of wobbly. That's what I'm assuming. The switch feels a little bit better than Batman did in terms of stoutness. And she's making a lot of noise already. And again, Superman, like Batman, you can see that neck looks like it's taking off at the airport. Action super high, guys. Neck, tons of relief in there. But what I don't know about either one of the Super Twins is whether or not the truss rod works. Now, if the truss rod don't work, Jack, we're going to have problems. But other than that, this nut is not offset like the Batman was. Let's see what we got. Uh-oh. And again, guys, on Superman like Batman, there ain't no sharp fret edges, man. That's kind of weird. And the frets are not scratchy. They are smooth. They're a little bit dirty. And this neck is it feels a little bit thinner than the other one felt. I don't think there's maybe an exact science in the factory that these are being made, but maybe I'm wrong, man. I do not know. Well, my friends, we have functioning electronics. And that is a good day, man. Yeah, guys, so the Six Flags Incorporated guitars are typically given away at Six Flags amusement parks. And usually there'd be like a booth where you have to, throw a football through a, I'm such an old man, that's the way I remember. Carnival booths, you throw a football through a tire, or whatever, you shoot BBs at little rubber duckies or whatever, and you can win these guitars. Well, the person I purchased the guitars from said that they got so good at playing those games, they won all kind of these guitars. In fact, they boasted that they changed the rules that you can only win 1 guitar from them because they got so good at it. Well, I don't know if there's any truth to the mythos of that or not, but here's what I do know. I do know that we turn these guitars into rock and roll machines, Jack. And I know, guys, look, hey, the Ubi, if you guys don't hang out with the Ubi, man, check his channel out. Those of you who hang on the channel, and oh, by the way, if it's your first time, welcome, Jack. Come back anytime and hang out with us at TED Talks Guitars and Life, man. We do a live stream every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We hang out with lots of cool cats in the comments. And by cool cats, I ain't talking about me. You'll know that when you know me better. Anyway, man, those of you who hang on the channel know that the Ubi has been helping me get my audio interface set up, but I don't have all that set up this morning, so I'm just running through the Vox Valvetronic amp, and these lapel mics are horrible to pick up guitar, so I'm not playing very loudly, I'm not playing very aggressively. I don't know what that sounds like that you guys can hear it, but the guitars play. Let's just call it that. I'm going to put some tone samples at the very end of this video. Those tone samples will not be from today, though. Here's what happened. Early this morning, I got a message on the local Facebook marketplace. I listed these guitars for $100 each. And I had a dad contact me and said, I'd like to come by, pick up Superman and Batman this morning, if that's cool with you. And I said, yeah, man, that's cool with me. And you may remember, if you've been hanging out with me, that we purchased the guitars for $10 a piece. We put, for the price of the guitars and all the parts, about $112 in. I also purchased the Sam electronics. Both of those kits were $30 a piece. We didn't end up using either one of those because of the cavities in these bodies were not deep enough for the wafer and all the things that we discovered along the journey. If you've been hanging out with me, I don't need to tell you all of the fun that we've had with these guitars along the way. So although we didn't use those parts, we did buy them for the project. So we were up somewhere in the ballpark of $180 spent on parts. And so to sell both guitars for $200, you know, about $20 profit, you know, man, I think that's great. Now, guys, I don't buy guitars to flip them. You know, I buy guitars so that I can learn how to do what I'm doing. I learned how to do fretwork by buying guitars that needed fretwork. I learned how to repair necks by buying broken guitars like that acoustic guitar over there that you cannot see off camera, whose guitar neck is now completely repaired. I buy jacked up guitars so that I can learn how to do electronics and I can learn how to do setups and I can turn them into rock and roll machines. That's what we do on the channel. And you guys who hang out with me know that. So today, yeah, the dad is coming over to pick up both of these guitars. And I mean, I think if he doesn't, then this will be a whole different video. But yeah, man, I think he's going to be pleased. Let me talk about both of the guitars kind of sort of at the same time. I want to do a little bit of show and tell along the way. So this is the Superman, as you might remember. Both of these guitars, yeah, well, let me start with the distinctions. So the Superman, I did alter the neck shape of that. I left Batman stock because I thought it looked like bat wings. We did put Safu black non-locking tuners on them. Those are, I think, 13 bucks, somewhere around there. We did put a Fender style black rolling string trees on both guitars. Those will run you about 7 bucks, somewhere in that neighborhood. We did give Batman's headstock a nice cracking paint looking. I don't know if you can tell that or not in the camera, but it looks pretty sweet up close, man. Anyway, the black rolling string trees, string retainers, you understand, on both guitars. I did put black Graphtec tusk nuts in both of the guitars. So upgrades, upgrades, upgrades. All right. The strap buttons are the same. The trim is the same. I didn't do anything to that. I did put a pure tone output jack in both of these guitars. So we got that going for us. The electronics, the pots and the wiring and the switches are all stock that were with them. Now we did have to purchase some knobs for Superman. And yeah, we did that copacetically quite well, I thought. Yeah, man. So stock pickups, nothing too dangerous about that. Cosmetically, I did paint the back of the headstocks with black stain and some finish, and I finally got them rocking and rolling. They're pretty smooth, man. Let's see what Superman sounds like if I can get this cord out. Man, those pure tone output jacks, Jack, they would flat keep your guitar cord in your guitar, baby. Yeah, man. Anyway, let me not play the guitar. Let me talk about it. Fretwork. Oh, man, we did lots and lots of fretwork. We ended up leveling both of these, both sets of frets. I did a lot of work on the sides. Guys, there are no rough edges on these frets. They are super polished. They are not scratchy by any means. We did clean and condition the fingerboard, man. And these guitars, oh, I did swap out. They had chrome, pretty basic strap buttons, so I got black ones. I just thought black would look better if we were kind of blacking this out a little bit, man. Yeah, guys, so we've got some rock and rollers. Yeah, man, Superman and Batman, the Super Twin guitars. Now the Bat did have some cosmetic stuff. One thing I just really couldn't work out. It had A scratched in it. Guys, I did the best I could to get that out. It is still there, and I just want to thank so many of you, man, who tried. And the key word is tried to help me work on that. I gave it the old college try, guys. I just couldn't get it done at the end of the day. They're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. There's a couple things about the guitars that I'll just say. I have noticed out on the marketplace, at least locally in my area, that there's a lot of these guitars floating around. Now, they don't all look like Batman and Superman. Guys, I've been seeing Six Flags Incorporated guitars on the local marketplace. Now, they're not all labeled Six Flags guitars. I actually saw a Superman Flying V, man. I almost bought it. You know I did, Jack. But I've resisted the urge. I figured once you have one Superman, why would you have another one? But all that said, man, uh, the headstock design of the Batman, that headstock I've seen on a lot of marketplace guitars for, 50, 60 bucks, 80 bucks here locally. And I think that's just all an indication that they're all pretty much the same manufacturing. The only thing about the guitars, playability. The weight is good of these. I've got the action where I like the action. That's a subjective thing, but I've got it dialed in where I like it, baby. The only thing about these guitars that I noticed in just the plain thing, the switch, the switch for the pickups is so close to that middle tone pot knob right there. I've noticed in the playing of these guitars that from time to time, because that switch is so close to the tone pot, the way I flip a pickup switch is not with my index finger. I don't come around like that. Okay, when I'm playing, when I'm, sorry guys, when I'm playing, I would never come around this and go that way. I go in, okay? So when I go in and I flip that up, I'm often grabbing that tone pot, which changes the tone. That's why it's called a tone pot. Anyway, guys, other than that, they're pretty bright. I mean, if I were going to keep these guitars around the shop or gig with them, yeah, I'd probably put some different pickups in it, man. But for sitting around the house, man, jamming with your buddies, man, for just kind of hanging out and getting down and, hanging out in the garage and I don't know, man, maybe even a light gig here and there, man. The Super Twin guitars have been a trip, man. That's what I can tell you. They were almost my kryptonite. There was almost anarchy. Feel me, Chris? Yeah, baby, I know you do, Jack. Mr. Comic Book Guy. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for the Super Twin guitars. I'll put some tone samples after this, man. Now, again, those tone samples are not from today. They're from the journey. So they're not a complete representation of all the work we've done. I never did do a replay too much of the Batman after I went at the setup for a second time. Both of these guitars have been filled with tender love and care, Jack, and upgraded parts, and I think they rock, man. Put it in the comments. What do you think about the Super Twin guitars? I don't know. Would you buy one of these things if you could find them in your local marketplace? What would you do with them? You think we did a good job here, man? I don't need the accolades, guys. I just looking for the fellowship and the dialogue. Put it in the comments what you think, Jack. Well, at the end of the day, I think for me, I'm pleased as punch, man, particularly if this cat comes and buys these guitars today. Well, guys, I can't thank you enough for hanging out with me today. Hey, special shout out to the Jacks, our channel members, for all your support, love, and encouragement, man. I dig hanging out with you cats, man. I really, really do. You guys are the best.
As always, wherever you are in your guitar journey, man, I pray it's a long, smooth, safe, joy-filled ride for you, Jack. Rock on with your best selves, everybody. Catch you down the road.